Sasha and I are up here near the vegetable garden, and our sunflowers that we planted this past spring have come out. We have some squash that hasn't really been irrigated, so it hasn't really been terribly prolific, but we have a few squash in there we're going to pick in just a minute. There goes Sasha. We even have a little bit of kale still coming in. It was moist enough a summer that we actually had ongoing growth in our kale. So let's go pick some squash. So out here in the squash patch we have some little baby squashes that are probably too early to pick. And I think I'm just going to pick some of the more mature ones. But it's relatively slim pickings again because it's been dry over the past couple weeks and I just have not irrigated. And here is our harvest, which is a small harvest this week. We got the so-called flying saucer squash, small succulent crookneck, a couple zucchinis, and then this one right here, which I think is just a yellow squash. So we'll take a taste of these back in the kitchen. Here we are with our white doyen pears. I'm gonna pick, that's a nice decent sized one. We'll bring that back to the kitchen and let it sit for about a week or so until it gets just right. We have what I think are my Anjou pears, and they're looking decent sized, but I'm not sure they're ready to come off the tree yet. They seem to be pretty well attached, so I think these are going to sit up there for at least another week. Got another one up there at the top of the tree. This apple tree was initially billed to me as ash meets kernel by the nursery that sold me the tree, and unfortunately I think they were rather disorganized because that is not ash meets kernel. In fact, with these prominent ridges and ribs that extend the length of the apple, the size of the apple, the color of the apple, including a little bit of pink here on the edge, these look like Caville Blanc d'Hiver, which is a French cooking apple. I'm going to see if they're ready for picking and yank on these a little bit. They're pretty well tied to the tree, so I'm not sure they should be coming off the tree just yet. One of these other trees that was billed by the nursery as Asapa Spitzenberg is actually ash meets kernel. We got a russeted bronze looking apple here, a little bit of red here on the side. The only thing that argues against it is the size. This is getting pretty big, and if it is ash meets kernel, it's got another month to go before they're picked. I'm going to see how easily these come off the tree, because if they're coming off easy, I'll pick it today. No, not coming off very easy. So I'm going to leave those. Again, they appear to be russeted apples and not Asapa Spitzenberg. Our quince continues to get bigger, but this won't be ripe probably for another month or two. And ripe is a relative term. It's going to be rock hard when it comes off. So quince. We are at our green Bartlett tree, and I'm going to see if these are ready. Yeah, it came off pretty easily. We'll start picking a few of these and then put them in our basket at home and let them ripen a little bit, probably a week or so before we eat them. I guess it's worth noting the impact on yield of a no-spray sort of permaculture approach. We have a number of these pears here which are deformed in different ways. Some russeting and scarring from probably injury when they were little fruitlets. And then we have some relatively intact pears. In fact, these are mostly near perfect, but I would say the ratio is about 50-50 significantly injured versus sort of relatively intact. These are green Bartletts.